All right, guys, you voted. You voted on this video. It is called "Why Are Video Games So Gay?" And on the front, you could see it is a straight version of me. Incredible stuff. This is, I mean, listen, this is gonna be brain rot, and that's what I'm looking for. We've been doing a lot of high sensitivity topics for a while. It's time to do something a little silly, a little goofy, right? And this is it. So this is by Andy Pants Gaming. Came out a few days ago. It just seems to be doing really well. Let's see what we got here, man.
All right, look. If you're a mod on Reddit, you're not going to be able to handle this video.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I know I look like one, but I unironically have never used Reddit, and I don't like Reddit, so.
I've gotten banned from Reddit like 10 times because I showed up and asked you homos a simple question.
Why do we need gay Star Wars? I mean, I don't mind the gay Star Wars. It just seems so unappealing. After the new trilogy, 7 wasn't terrible. I didn't like that Rey won against Kylo Ren in the last lightsaber fight. That was really my only criticism. And then it got a little weirdly goofy towards the end too, but not a big deal. Like the temper tantrum that Kylo Ren had, it just kind of felt weird. It just didn't really make sense to me. I know Star Wars does humor. It just can't, but that was fine. But him losing at the end, it bothered me because, like, what does the good guy have to overcome? She beat the bad guy, and that was like your most serious bad guy, and they did a really good job making Kylo Ren like a threat. Like stopping that laser bolt at the beginning was iconic. So the ending where he wins or he loses, and I understand, like, oh well, he was hurt, he was injured, that's why he lost. Yeah, that's why she should be able to contend with him because he was so injured. And it wouldn't have changed too much because at the end the thing splits and they're no longer able to fight anyway. So if she had just lost, it would have been really good. But 7 wasn't bad. 8 was a train wreck. Haven't even seen 9. 8 like ruined every storyline. I know that 9 basically was 3 movies in one because they had to create a new narrative because they killed the big bad guys, Snopes, the fact-checking service, which was just stupid. I don't know. It just was a mess. And after that, I lost interest in that and pretty much everything else. I watched the Obi-Wan thing. It was okay. It was fine. I watched Mandalorian wasn't bad. Boba Fett was okay. Like, nothing is really spectacular to me anymore. It just feels like Disney's pumping out as much, diarrhea as possible to make as much money as possible. Kind of like a Papa Gut YouTube channel. But I even saw, I think like the CEO, I think they brought back a CEO of Disney, and they're like, yeah, we know that we've been pumping out slop, basically. We're going to try to kind of cut it back and focus on quality more. So, yeah, I don't mind adding some gay people in Star Wars. I mind when it just starts to suck. I like gay things sucking things, but you understand my point. Make it entertaining media. I don't care how many gay people or trans people you put in it, as long as the media is entertaining. I don't give a shit. So that's all I care about.
And y'all can't answer it, so you ban me. So if you spend a lot of time on Reddit, we already know you wear women's clothes.
Okay.
We know your wife has a boyfriend.
Okay.
And we know you drive a Prius.
And apparently and you're okay with your wife having a boyfriend. That's very important too.
So just click off. You're not going to like this video. Now for the rest of you, straight dudes, giga chads,
okay,
can we talk?
Okay.
Why are video games gay now? If you look at the front page of Xbox Game...
Okay, so there's going to be like 2 answers to this question. There's going to be like the reasonable answer and then like the unreasonable answer, and I'm going to give them both to you. The reasonable answer is because video games used to just be for like straight edgy dudes who loved racism and telling people that they hope their parents die of cancer. Because that's what we used to do. And it's not nice, and it's not right, but that's what we used to do. So games used to just be for straight guys, maybe even straight white guys, but I don't really know. I mean, I've never seen an old video game where they would hold the gun to the side, so I'm assuming it was all for straight white guys. As time has gone on, there has been an appeal to pull more audiences of people in, and so there are games that are created for women, for gay people, for any demographic out there. There's a game that is being created, and it makes sense. I mean, like, capitalism wise, you want to pull in as many audiences as possible. There's tons of different niches of people to pull in. There'll be different video games and different forms of media for different people, and that fundamentally is why. But then we also sometimes lean too much into the pandering of particular groups for social attention, and I think that's where some of these problems do come in. But that's why some games are kind of gay now, because gay guys like games. Gay girls like games. They like different games, but they like games. So,
Game Pass right now, you will see what I mean. Magical Delicacy. Explore an unfamiliar town and deliver tasty treats to the townsfolk.
It just sounds like a game for girls. I always wouldn't play it.
Learn new ways to traverse, discover secrets, and experience a unique witchy world.
Surprised nobody wants to play their woke garbage. Why is this woke? This looks like a game for girls who like anime and maybe femboys. Why is this woke though? This is my thing. Just because you don't like a game, it doesn't look like a me game, doesn't mean that you have to think it's woke garbage. This looks like a smaller service created this game, and it's like, oh, what if we made a magical witchy? Okay, you make that, and I won't play it, but probably there may be some people that'll play it. You know.
The LGBTQ crowd are satanic devil worshippers, so of course they have witches in their game.
What? Is this guy joking, or is he actually like unhinged, like I hate gay people? I thought this video was supposed to be a joke. Is he actually homophobic?
No Giga Chad would actually play this slop. We would say, "Get behind me, Satan," while we leave.
I mean, not for nothing, the Giga Chads are playing horrible dog shit Call of Duty remakes that are just not good. So clearly, Giga Chads are fucking slop-eating animals. Not for nothing, but like really, what is worse? Kiki's Magical Delivery Service food cutting game, or like the same Call of Duty game you've been playing that you wish would recapture the nostalgia of your childhood? Like which one? You know, we're all eating literal slop. I'm still playing World of Warcraft. I'm literally, figuratively and literally eating slop. Look at me. So yeah.
To go play Kingdom Come Deliverance and old school Rainbow Six games. So did anybody actually play this satanic dog shit game?
Why is it satanic? Witches? We're like in the 1960s right now.
No, of course not. It's a complete failure. What about Flintlock, Siege of Dawn?
I don't know.
Girl Boss, check. Black Lesbian Woman, check.
Are these even like AAA titles? What titles are these? These look like free-to-play games.
One reviewer said this: A44 plays with the history of humanity and mythology to shape its particular world.
Okay.
Let me translate that last sentence for you. It probably has a bunch of men who like to dress up in women's clothes in it. The word to look out for when you see this stuff.
Bro, this is like comical how obsessed this guy is with gay shit. This guy's, oh, what the fuck? This guy's weirdo. Oh yeah, this is all this content. Woke apocalypse. Okay. Who killed masculinity? Woke. Oh, this guy's obsessed with woke shit. Like, this guy is like a desperate victim. I thought this was going to be like a funny little, haha, games are kind of gay. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, that's funny. This guy actually, this is a sickness. This is an illness of being so, this guy is more obsessed with fucking gay shit than gay people are. Like, that's gay. Like, that's ultimately very gay. If looking at games through a lens of like, what isn't woke is just a weird obsession that I'll never understand. Like when I see a game like this, I go, that doesn't look interesting to me, and not play it. I don't go, oh my God, it's woke. There are so many different developing studios, especially smaller studios, that can pump out higher quality games because of technology. And we can get into a conversation about AI disrupting jobs as well. But they'll able to use that to some degree. That you're going to see, we have an abundance of dog shit that's going to get flooded into the world. It's not like it was back in the day where, like, you know, your games were more carefully created and curated, which, by the way, not all those games were great, but because it was hard to make video games. It's very easy comparatively to make video games, to develop the technology, and also like to create like just to put them up onto the market, like on Steam and other services. You know, my understanding is PlayStation games are hard to make, but Xbox games are pretty easy to make because it's pretty much the same as like making it on a computer. I don't know all the specifics, but that's my understanding of it. And so you're going to see slop. It's the same reason why Netflix is full of a bunch of dog shit. It's just there's constant slop out there. But to sit here and be like, oh, video games, like it's there's not like a woke narrative. There are just more people, some annoying, making video games. It's not like that deep. It's not that deep at all.
Is inclusive. Inclusive is a synonym for satanic as far as I'm concerned now.
Okay.
Because they're not actually inclusive. Are
Why?
they including fundamentalist Islamic people who think homosexuality is wrong?
No, I guess they should. But that wouldn't be inclusive to the gays, so.
No. Are they including...
But do you disagree with them? You seem to hate gay people.
Russians and Polish people who think being gay is wrong? No.
Do you want them to make a game about how being gay is wrong? What the hell's wrong with you?
Are they including Asian women with diabetes who live in Akron, Ohio? No.
No. Are they including Asian women that aren't good drivers? No. Because it's woke now to acknowledge the truth. No, I'm fucking kidding. But here's the thing. If you're older and from a different country, going to another country, it doesn't matter what country you're going from and to, you're not going to be a good driver. If you're an 80-year-old white man from fucking Canada and you go live in China, you're not going to drive very well over there. They have different driving cultures, okay? So all I'm saying is that when you shift from culture to culture as a driver, you're not a good driver in the new culture you've shifted to, okay? All right? You don't see me driving around Romania. I don't know how to ride a horse or a donkey. So, sorry, that was inappropriate. Yeah.
Oh, so it's never actually been about inclusion.
So just to be clear, it is about inclusion. It gets annoying sometimes. I understand that. I acknowledge that. It's about inclusion. Generally, you don't include things that are bigoted. So you're not really trying to include homophobia in your video games. We used to have that in games. I think it can be funny. But like it's weird because like this is really a pathetic talking point where people are like, oh, it's inclusive. Well, do they include the stuff that hates people? Oh, no, they didn't do that. Oh, it's inclusive. Can you play as a Nazi that loves Hitler? No, you can't. Oh, well, then is it really inclusive? Well, yeah, we understand that like inclusivity usually means that it's including things that are typically not considered good in the past for no reason. You know, marginalized groups, right? So it is inclusive to have gay guys in there. You know, I guess there would be a form of inclusion if they had some kind of Islamic extremist that hated gay people as the main character. I don't know who that would appeal to. But like, yes, it is still inclusive to include something outside the status quo. And that's usually like a gay person or a girl or a black person or a whatever, like whatever.
Because they aren't inclusive of people who disagree with them.
Right. So make your own game, though, that has racism in it. That you can do it. See how well that'll sell.
They're pushing the inclusion of a very specific group of people.
Yeah, gay people who have been marginalized and trans people who have been marginalized in society. It was like was it last year that like Ted Cruz and like Clarence Thomas were talking about trying to ban gay marriage, get rid of like the Supreme Court ruling that protects gay marriage, despite the fact that we live in a separation of church and state society. There is still some homophobia going on. So yeah, yes, that is what they're generally trying to include. And they're also trying to capture the market of gay people.
People who have been outed for child loving.
What are you talking about?
People in the LGBTQ movements.
Bro, what the fuck? This guy's actual insane.
Etc.
If we're going to... Listen, here's the thing. If we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about because there have been pedophiles belonging to the LGBTQ community, that means that the LGBTQ people are pedophiles, then every religious person is a pedophile. There isn't a single religious text that has an age of consent. Everybody who's religious is a pedophile. I don't believe that. But if you're going to play this game where because there have been some pedophiles in the LGBTQ community, they're all pedophiles, there was a massive scandal of children getting raped and abused by priests and them getting shipped around the country instead of actually punished. You have every single religious text has no explicit age of consent. They say when a girl starts her period and that's when she's okay to marry in an abusive relationship where she has no say on herself. By every definitive metric, religion is more abusive to kids than being LGBTQ. And yet I wouldn't sit here and say that religion is abusive to kids, right? But if you're going to do this, then like what you're acknowledging is that like you're a fucking idiot. Like the reality is religion has been more dangerous bar for bar than anything else to kids. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you. So this obviously is just like a fucking... This is a crybaby pussy meltdown video from somebody who desperately wants to be a victim and wants to be like, I'm a straight white victim or a straight male victim. Enough is enough. Like, you look embarrassed. I thought this was going to be a funny little gay video. This is you legitimately think gay people are pedophiles. Take, how am I wrong? Explain to me how I'm wrong. There was a massive network of fucking priests raping little kids and then getting shipped around the country that was protected. There's no age of consent in the Bible. It's okay for 13-year-old girls who start their puberty to get married to 30-year-old men in arranged marriages. Explain to me how gay people existing is worse for children than literal rampant child abuse and pedophilia that religion is okay with. Because, and again, it's because their laws are old. I understand that there are old structures in there. We haven't been updated. It's because we haven't really heard God say, hey, stop fucking kids. So I'm not wrong. You're just feeling sensitive about it. Just to be clear. You're feeling sensitive about it because you didn't think of it that way.
Oh, and of course, fat liberal white women.
She's actually skinny.
But back to the Xbox stuff. And by the way, I historically have been an Xbox guy, but it is an absolute tragedy where Xbox is headed, and I'm just going to be real.
I'm not really an Xbox guy, so I play PlayStation and the computer games.
With y'all about this. This is not some kind of thing where I'm dunking on Xbox because PlayStation is just as bad in this regard.
Is this guy just a troll? Is this guy a whole town a troll? That would make sense if that's true.
Last of Us 2 was a woke abortion that killed off the only thing that made the game worth playing.
Oh, okay. I didn't play the Last of Us games yet. I have still yet to play them, so I don't know. But I've heard good things about both games.
Joel. Aloy is the definition of a fat girl boss who needs
okay, she looks a little bloated.
Needs to put down the cookies and go for a run.
Was Last of Us 2 bad, or did they just kill off Joel because that was the natural thing that needed to happen with the character? Because my understanding is that, like, that's just kind of... I can appreciate when games will kill off characters where the time has come, like, instead of milking the fuck out of the franchise in that way. So it sounds like he prepared her for the world, and then she takes over in 2. I haven't played it, so I don't know the specifics. I could be wrong about some stuff. I intend to play it, but the first one's better than the first one. Incredible. Yeah. Last of Us 2 was a good game. Okay, I mean, I would believe that. It just sounds like it's the successor. It's just moving into a new place.
Oh, wait, but what about Concord, the new premier live service game for the PS5 that looks like a training seminar on diversity?
Oh, it looks like shit.
To say the game bombed would be an understatement.
Sure. And then, like, what about, like, the Marvel video game? Because that game was like an Overwatch clone. The Marvel Overwatch clone, which seems to be better, right? It's just like that game decided to be annoying, and people didn't respond to it. So if anything, the world is correcting itself when it comes to people putting like annoying forced inclusion into media.
Concord had a peak of 2,300.
People were mad that the young girl became a lesbian in the second game. Oh, okay, whatever.
188 players at launch. Even Starfield on Xbox.
I don't care if a lesbian exists. I care if the story sucks ass and they use like inclusivity as a lazy band-aid for the biggest issue of having a shit game. If you decide to make your game really good and it happens to have gay characters, I don't care about that. All right, if you create a game that's like complete dog shit and the whole selling point is that there's inclusivity to it and blah 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 and it sucks, like, I know you're pandering. That's what I care about.
It's had a peak of 380,000 on Steam.
Okay.
And this is like your premier game on PS5 right now. Insane. But jumping back to Xbox for a second.
It's their premier game?
It's absolutely wild to consider the
Oh, apparently Joel got killed off by a buff woman. Oh, okay.
State that Xbox is in right now compared to where it was 20 years ago.
Okay.
One of the things I always loved about Xbox is how masculine and bro-y Xbox used to be.
Okay.
And Xbox knows this about itself. They had games like Halo, Gears of War, the America's Army games, all
Don't they still have these games? I remember Army of Two. I played that on the PlayStation, though.
the military games. Xbox even had The Rock come out when their console launched in November 2001.
Yeah, well, The Rock's not doing too well selling anything. The military paid him like $11 million to plug the military, and he couldn't pull in like a single recruit. So The Rock just doesn't have the same pull as he used to.
Microsoft knows exactly who their target market is. Straight dudes. I would also argue that Xbox still knows who their target market is today.
Okay.
They're just ignoring it. Because of ESG and BlackRock and the shadowy fuckers, the satanic strings behind all this stuff.
Are they ignoring it, or are they just making more games to a wider demographic because more people are playing video games? Back then, video games were just, well, really, video games, this is how video games started. They started as nerd dog shit for fucking losers because they were just dots and pixels. Then they evolved and they started to spread to mostly men. Women weren't like super interested in it, and you know, it was considered more masculine. Then as time went on, the technology got better, it became more accessible, new types of games were being played, it was cheaper to create games. There were different types of like games for different systems, like your mobile phone, and things started to change. So now there's a wider market to grasp onto. That's pretty much it. So aren't they releasing a new Gears of War? Like what else is there? I don't know.
But I'll get to that later.
And they have porn games now too. That's definitely for dudes, okay?
Here. So Xbox is definitely aware that it's straight, heterosexual men mostly playing their games. Do you know how we know that? Just look at the games they play.
Oh, okay. Well, they're still playing. This is a recent game. Elden Ring is recent. Apex Legends is still pretty big. NBA, that gets released every year. Grand Theft Auto. Then there's Minecraft. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. So it looks like they're still making games that appeal to grown men. I mean, Roblox and Minecraft also appeal to grown men, but these are actual pedophiles, not the fake ones that you pretend because they're gay. These are like actual adult male pedophiles. Also, there's a difference between a pedophile and somebody attracted to a kid in any specific. If an older man was attracted to a young girl, I'm not considering that a straight man. That is a pedophile. So if an older man is attracted to a young boy, I'm not considering that a gay man. That is a pedophile. Just to be absolutely clear. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the statistics, it usually is men who are attracted to these young people more than women are at a disproportionately higher rate. So if you're going to say that gay men are like pedophiles because there are some of them are attracted to little boys, I would just be like, then okay, men are pedophiles because it's mostly men. Like, you know what I mean? Like we get down like this chain of thought when we're like, well, look at this and look at this and look at this. That's all I'm saying. So I feel like you shouldn't paint an entire group as bad because of the actions of a very small amount of people in that group. But yeah, it looks like they're still making games for men, and then they make games for other people.
These are the top 10 most played games on Xbox right now.
Cool.
So we can remove Minecraft and Roblox because it's definitely kids playing those.
Apex is for gay men.
And we can remove Apex because it's mostly homosexual men playing that game.
Okay. I don't think that's true, but okay.
What you have left is 7 games that are definitely mostly being played by straight, normal dudes.
Okay, just to be clear, you're telling me that you think Fortnite is mostly played by straight, normal guys. No. Here's a real list. Elden Ring, that's probably your most normal game. That's played by sociopaths who like a game that's too hard. NBA 2K and football, all black people. It's literally all black people. Nothing wrong with that, but it's all black guys. Grand Theft Auto, a pretty diverse group of edgy people who like to beat up hookers, honestly. Rainbow Six Siege, sweats. Sweats. Fat, white sweats. Me as well. 100%. Call of Duty, racist people looking for nostalgia. And Fortnite, I can't even tell you. Fortnite is not for men. Fortnite is for fucking kids. Now, I'm sure it's fun, but Fortnite is not. The fact that you even said that Fortnite was for heterosexual men is interesting. That's an interesting one, brother. I don't know what else to tell you.
So why? Why is Xbox forcing LGBTQ slop on us when it's so obvious that gamers are still
How are they forcing it onto you? Just don't play the game.
Overwhelmingly angry, straight, edgelord
I could tell you're angry.
males? Well, now we're getting down to it. And
This guy's got to be trolling me. Maybe I'm just fucking crazy. What?
reasons are this. Number 1, BlackRock and the satanic
I think this guy's a troll.
forces that are trying to shape our society right now. BlackRock is a multi-trillion-dollar company that owns all of these companies.
Okay.
That isn't interested in making money anymore.
What? Why do you think they're not interested in making money?
They're interested in social progress, what they call evolution. See, if they can change your body.
So here's what I'm going to assume about BlackRock, and I'm probably going to be right. BlackRock is creating games using DEI companies to make sure that there is a level of inclusivity in the game. That's what I'm going to assume. Again, there's 2 aspects to this. The primary aspect is this. There have been a lot of allegations against different gaming companies, Blizzard, Riot Gaming, the works, big top-tier gaming companies, about misconduct in the workplace, where like the managers date their employees. I remember the one girl that worked for Blizzard. I think that like the manager dated the employee. He leaked revenge porn. She ended up like killing herself. Right? Shit that is like that could potentially ruin a company. So what investors do is they say, listen, we will only invest into your game if you work with some kind of a DEI agency to make sure that there is an inclusive environment. God of War used, I forget what the company was called. It might have been BlackRock, but I don't remember what it was called. A DEI service to create, unironically, one of the, in my opinion, greatest games ever made. I love the entire God of War franchise, even the ones that I have an issue with. They're still incredible. The worst God of War game is still good. Even Ascension, as fucking terrible as that game is actually still somewhat fun to play because you can respect what they're trying to do. Okay? But anyway, that's why investors will say, we will only invest into your game if you do this. Because they don't want their game to go down the fucking toilet because there's sexual harassment and assault at the workplace. Right? Does it have negatives sometimes? Absolutely. Sometimes the game can get too annoying and too stupid. It can lose direction. You might hire people that are a little too, we'll say, woke and add like annoying, dumb bullshit into the game. That absolutely happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But this concept that the inclusivity in like the games, like these DEI agencies, and that's the implication I'm getting here. Maybe I'm wrong, but the idea that those are they're trying to force something down our throat is just not true. They're trying to add inclusivity to reduce the actual harm at work, so it won't hurt their investment. Money making is the number one priority. Right? And so there absolutely are going to be issues with it, but there's no narrative and secret fucking like conspiracy theory to replace straight white men, cisgendered men. Blah, 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 blah. There's no, like, that's a victim complex that you have. That doesn't exist. There is a definite idea of mentality. Hey, we want to make money off of our investment. Now, I personally think we're starting to shift away from AAA games. It seems like AA games and whatnot are doing better. I was just playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. That game's a lot of fun. I don't think that's a AAA title, right? There's so much more going on, and it seems like these AAA games, they do come, like, they can be, frustrating to release and play and all that. But fundamentally speaking, again, it's not about shoving gay shit down your throat. It's about adding inclusivity in the workplace so that your investment doesn't fall through because of like sexual harassment and different types of allegations going on. And then sometimes some of the people that get hired there can be like an issue. Sometimes some of the people are annoying as fuck and they get a little too woke. Sure. But again, there's no magical narrative to force gay shit down your throat. Okay. It seems like you're already doing that enough. It seems like you might want to guzzle cum.
Buying habits to buy what they want to sell, then they will have consumers for life.
Okay.
In between visits to Epstein's Island, BlackRock execs talk about the destruction of individual cultures and the raising up of a new global corporatism. See, because if they can destroy your culture and blend you in with everyone else like Starbucks,
what?
Then they have billions of reliable global consumers for life.
What if they made gay versions of each game? So if you wanted to see gay stuff, you can. If you don't, you can see it. And if you don't, you won't have to look at it. They already do. It's called different games. We have gay versions of things all the time. They're just totally different games that suck. Okay.
Life. I mean, if we're being 100% real right now, this is the coming of the Antichrist that was spoken of in the Bible. It's the new LGBTQ mafia.
Okay.
Revelations 13 says this: He required everyone, great and small, rich and poor, slave and free, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead, and no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing him. This
guy's trolling. I think he's legitimately trolling. There's no wait. Is he not trolling? I miss the days when games weren't propaganda. Oh no, he liked that comment. This is real?
Name. Dude, I will literally die before I let them put that junk on me.
The fuck are you talking about? What do you think they're trying to put on you?
Amazon and Whole Foods are literally already allowing you to pay with your palm. We are not this.
What is? Are you talking about like an implant in your hand? Yeah, if that's a real thing, that's weird. I wouldn't do it. Okay, no one's forced. This is either preposterously fucking insane or a troll.
As far away from that stuff. So basically, it makes money for all these shadowy fuckers who are into child loving. It undermines culture.
Okay.
It attacks Christianity, and they're using the demonic LGBTQ stuff.
How does it attack Christianity? I don't understand that part. How does it? Because we talk about there's gay people in games, and again, sometimes they're annoying. How does that attack Christianity? I don't get it.
Stuff to lead the way with this stuff. But before I completely get lost in conspiracy theory land,
yeah, you already are, brother.
Let me get back practically to why the gay agenda is being pushed so hard in video games right now.
It's not.
Reason number 2.
There are more gay people playing games. That's it.
Xbox and other big companies desperately need new revenue streams.
Okay.
Check out this revenue chart of video games from the past 50 years.
Well, yeah. Do you want to know why revenue is going down on video games? It's because video games are not expensive enough. The reality is, as much as people bitch and moan about games costing $60, games have like always cost $60. Games used to cost $50. So let's say let's do an inflation calculator. We're gonna do an inflation calculator. right? So let's go back to, we'll start here. It says 1970. So let's go back to 1970. Let's do 1980, just to do 10 years on it. Okay? Let's do $60 or $50, right? $50 in 1980 is $200. That's how much. Let's even do 1990, because I was alive in 1990, and that's when I was buying. My mommy was buying video games for me. So in 1990, a video game was $123 adjusted for inflation. $50 back then. Okay, $123 for now. Okay, and that's 1990. Games are now still, well, it depends. Some of them are 50, 60, let's say 70. That's still $50. Now, you absolutely could argue, hey, the disc. That physical disc is about $10. That physical cartridge is about $10 of it. Of course. Like, that's how much. I went to school for, like, Game and Web Design. We had these conversations in the class. That's why, like, I know that. That's my understanding from when we talked about it back then. Right? But still, and, like, there is technology that does make some things go faster, but there's also higher expectations for how good video games look, how well they feel, how well they play. You might be like, well, they release games that are buggy all the time. Every single game that you watch for speedrunning, like Mario 64, is buggy as fuck. All these games always were released with bugs, and they were just never fixed. I'm not saying it's good that they have bugs. I'm just saying that bugs have always existed in every single video game you've ever played. There's always been bugs in those games. So, like, let's stop pretending that it's new. People use bugs and exploits to fucking speedrun games all the time. Okay? Video games are cheap, comparatively. That's really what it boils down to. And so that's going to be a big reason why profit margins are going to go down. It's also a more competitive space. There's a lot more games coming out, which means that, like, you have to share the wealth with different companies. It's not just Street Fighter now. There's like 100 different fighting games. There's a Dragon Ball Z fighting game. There's a fucking Mortal Kombat. There's Killer Instinct. There's fucking Battletoads or something. I don't know. You understand my point. There's a ton of fighting games. There's so many different competitors inside of these markets that it has like a different there's going to be a different variable. It seems like revenue's going up drastically. What the fuck are you talking about?
Did you know that the profit of the three big console makers, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation, has been hovering around $30 billion since 2011? Isn't that wild?
Not really. So if you're telling me consoles been about 2000, yeah, look. But okay, there's more competitors to the market, and they've still maintained like 30 billion, which of course is going to go down based on inflation. But like, no shit, arcade is effectively phased out. I would have thought so. But like, now you have handhelds, mobile phones is going to be really where it's at. PC is to an extent also kind of mixed in with some of the console, because like Xbox and PC games are very easy. I'm surprised VR and AR games are doing so well financially. I don't even believe this, to be honest with you. Oh, it's just 5 billion. Okay, they're doing 5 billion. Mobile's 101 billion. Yeah. This is a competitor. Mobile games are a competitor to your PC market, to your console market. You might be like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's not a direct competitor. You're not going to be able to play a PC or mobile game for the most part that's going to actually compete with the PC game, but you're going to be able to play something that is distracting. And it's going to be a financial expenditure as well, because of like gacha games, which are usually mobile type games. So
basically, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation have been fighting over the same players since 2011.
Yeah, probably less players. Well, maybe more players now that there's more people coming in. That's what it is. They want more. They need to encapsulate new markets as well, right?
So this is why they're pushing the gay stuff so hard. This is why you see Flintlock and Magical Delicacy. And
bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dungeons of Hinterberg and all this woke slop on the
who gives a shit
front page of Xbox Game Pass.
Okay.
Phil Spencer's gamble right now.
This is Xbox Game Pass? Dude, you have to be trolling. For the most part, anything up. Okay, listen, I don't have an Xbox. I'm going to imagine that Xbox Game Pass is a bunch of free shit that gives you the perception of value. Okay? That's what it really comes down to. This is how these things work. When you're a video, this is one of the things that video game companies are trying to do, especially like PlayStation and Xbox more than anything else, is that what they do is they give you a pass now that costs you like a couple $100 a year or $10 a month or whatever. And they overload it with as many games as they possibly can for as cheap as they possibly can. So you have indie developers who make games that don't really get attention. And then Xbox goes, hey, or PlayStation will go, hey, we'll put this on here for like a little bit of money. And they go, okay. And what happens is now you're like $15 a month, $20 a month for 5,000 games a month or 500 games a month. my brain is like, oh, the perception of value is I pay $10 for 500 games. That's math that I don't feel like engaging in. Then you start using going, this is all horrible dog shit. They'll try to keep you locked in with a couple of really big titles. Like right now, I have the Game Pass because there's like monthly games that are free, which are usually NBA 2K a year after it came out, so it's not relevant anymore. And then also, like, you get all the God Awards available to you. Well, not Ascension, Ghost of Sparta, or Chains of Olympus, but which is criminal. But you get all these games. It's a perception of value. It's supposed to make you think that you have a lot of things. And some people might play that. And that might keep people playing. But it's basically getting like a membership to something like this. It's basically like the fucking Planet Fitness of memberships. The Game Pass is Planet Fitness. It's you purchase this because you're like, wow, there's so many games on here. And then you just never use it. But you feel like you're getting a good deal. That's all it comes down to. So, like, these are things that are recently added. They're just bullshit games. Like, these aren't, like, the number one being pushed games. These are literal dog shit games. That's why they have them on there.
That he can somehow capture a new audience and get a new audience to play video games.
Or that audience made their own video game. It's an indie developer making these games that aren't appealing to people. And they're like, yeah, sure, let's capture them in. Xbox isn't like, all right, guys, we need a game about fucking magical gay witches. No, I'm a fucking weird, like, some person that likes gay witches makes the game. Oh, that's cringe. What's Castlevania about? It's about fucking magical vampires. I think it's badass. Okay, women like witches, guys like vampires, but then women also like vampires if they shine and they glow in the dark, and they sit down funny by putting their hands on the table. It's very bizarre. Edward is a very weird guy, right? It's just a demographic. It's just a genre. It doesn't matter.
But I don't know if you've noticed, no women are picking up Xbox controllers because there's another cute indie game. No kids are picking up Xbox controllers because of cute indie games. Women, when they do game, are playing on their phones.
For the most part,
Kids are mostly playing games on their phones.
But there are more and more women playing console games and other types of games that are in traditional male spaces more than ever, just to be clear. And the existence of, like, inclusive games or, like, whatever witchy idiot game, that's not taking away from your viewership or your membership as, like, an Xbox player. It just gives you something to bitch about.
Their iPads and their PCs. My niece and nephew hate consoles and hate controllers. Sitting in front of a TV and playing a console is something solely men between the ages of 25 and 50 do.
That's not necessarily true. That was probably be their primary demographic, but there are, like, a lot of women play Fortnite. Like, you'd be surprised. The things that pull women into video games are customizables. It's visual stimulation. It is different outfits. It's different skins. It's different dresses in games. That's why they're seeing more, like, women play, like, Final Fantasy and MMORPGs. Because you can make yourself look like a pretty princess. That's why they play Fortnite, because you can look like a fucking, whatever. Is it mostly men? For the most part, but the demographic is shifting. There is still a different market to appeal to in general. Again, those games, though, are not games created to appeal to, like, a market. Those are games created by an indie developer that Xbox says, fuck it, we'll take some of that on so that we can have 500 games in our market.
And yet Xbox seems dead set on completely ignoring this.
You showed us the top 10 games were mostly men, so they obviously are still appealing to men, but okay.
Reason number 3. Games are so gay right now because of the people working at game companies.
There's probably a level of truth to that. Yeah, there's more gay people in the business. Who gives a shit?
Look at the staff photos of companies like id Software and Arcane and Activision in the 90s, and then look today, and you will see what I'm talking about.
So just to be clear, on the left is a bunch of white guys who made a game, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. On the left, on the right is some kind of protest because Blizzard had horrible sexual assault. I'm assuming that this is every voice matters. I'm going to assume that this is people protesting during COVID because Blizzard, I'm pretty sure it was during COVID. Blizzard had a massive scandal where, like, a woman killed herself. Okay. I'm pretty okay. Oh, it was 2023. Okay, was it 2023? Yeah, so they settled their lawsuit at the end of 2023. So this was COVID-ish times. Activision Blizzard. So, like, and this is a small group of, like, you really can't see too many people here. There are some fucking gay people. This guy has a Blizzard thing. But that was what this was about. This was quite literally like, hey, we're going to stand with inclusivity. They had a party room at, like, one of their conventions that was called the Cosby Room. Like, that's not appropriate. Okay, they made that's a terrible joke to make. It's funny for us, but from a business perspective, this isn't good. You have Cosby Room jokes. You have women taking their own lives. You have sexual harassment at the workplace. You have issues with, like, homophobia at the workplace. no shit, you're going to see a drastic shift. You're going to see you're going to see a lot of representation in these advocacy groups here because they're advocating against people being taken advantage of at work. What the fuck?
In the 90s, these companies were full of edgelords, straight dudes. This is why we got manly-ass characters like Doom Guy and Duke Nukem and Call of Duty.
Okay.
But today...
And Call of Duty. This guy has to be trolling, dude. I have to be getting trolled.
Think about who is going to college to study video games.
A bunch of gay people that want to make a gay game. Because they're like, what if I had a game where my fucking penis could turn into a grocery bag and I could put stuff in there? You know what I mean? And like I said, that game might be really appealing for some people. I didn't play the Hogwarts game. That was gay as fuck. I played it a little bit. It wasn't appeal to me. Harry Potter, gay. Let's just be real. Harry Potter's fucking gay. It's for gay women. That is what it's for. Didn't appeal to me. That's okay that it existed. I didn't have a meltdown about wokeness, okay?
It's all kids who are confused about their gender and into anime and wear tails to school. Okay. Young men who like to dress up as women and talk about needing a mental health day are the people who work at game companies.
There's nothing wrong with mental health days, okay? There's nothing wrong with mental health. I don't think I took a single day off of work when I worked a real job because I was sick. Every time I took off was because I didn't feel like going to work. Did I call it a mental health day? No. I'm just like, I don't feel like going in today. And then I'd go to work sick, and I don't give a fuck. That's so let's be real. We all done the whole mental health day thing.
Now. Like, what the fuck? Can I have a mental health day? Man, I wish I didn't have to spend a 12-hour shift welding pieces of metal together on a 30-story building.
This has to be a troll. I feel like I'm getting next level trolled. This guy is not a welder. This guy's a YouTube creator, and he does well. So I doubt that I very highly doubt that he is also actually doing physical labor. Listen, I'm very convinced that this guy is trolling, but in the case that he's not, I'm going to engage in this because there are people who agree with this fucking idiot perspective. The thing that always drives me nuts is when guys that don't work difficult jobs talk about how guys work difficult jobs as if they are the guy working the difficult job. It's always the guy that's a YouTuber or works at fucking Starbucks or works at a fucking Target that talks about how men have it so hard because we do welding. Most men aren't welders. That job is tough. Welding is tough. Construction is tough. HVAC is tough. These are male-dominated fields. Women don't seem to want to get into them. They should because maybe you'd make more money. Those are tough jobs. If you don't work that job, please shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up about it. Okay, I never worked a job. I managed a cleaning crew for my county's bus company. I had some time off. I had some vacation. I would take mental health days. You get sick time. They are not. I don't think they're legally allowed to ask you, but they will not ask you why you are taking time off unless it is over 3 days. That's it. When it comes to calling out 3 days in a row, you have to have a doctor's note. Outside of that, you take a day off. They are not. I don't think they're legally allowed to ask you why you're taking off. They're just not allowed to do it. And if they do, you just be like, oh, I just had a day off. You don't have to even explain yourself to them. You can take mental health days off. I used to take mental health days off. We've all taken mental health days off. If you're telling me the only time you called out of work was because you were legitimately sick, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Can I just be a homo and have a mental health day? So anyway, the way it has been explained to me by people who work in the industry is that all these rich white kids who are confused about their sexuality went to places like SCAD and Full Sail and other video game colleges, and they got jobs at Ubisoft and Activision and Rockstar.
Gotcha.
And, you know, companies that used to make cool games but make gay stuff now. And do you know how I...
Aren't you playing a cool game right now that was released somewhat recently? Like, these games seem to still exist. We get Souls games like every 6 months. People love those. Those are for men that have anger problems, but somehow don't destroy their PC every time they die over and over and over again.
You know this? Because Activision has like 50 homo initiatives right now for...
What? You keep saying homo, dude. This is fucking killing me.
People who work on their games. Inclusion officer. Diversity expert.
Yes. Again, the reason why these exist... Look at here. In 2022, we increased the representation of Activision Blizzard King employees who identify as a woman or non-binary by 2 percentage points. Again, you can cringe at it if you want. Activision Blizzard specifically was engaged in a huge scandalous lawsuit. Of course, they're going to hire diversity, equity, and inclusion officers or whatever. They're going to have these initiatives because they just had a problem with guys effectively, to some degree, being abusive to women in their company. And like gay people in their company. I think one of the things that they would do, I don't remember if this was Riot or Blizzard, is they would walk around and just fart on the women. And it sounds silly, but imagine getting farted on all day. Like it's just fucking. They like it's insane because that's considered harassment. Just to be clear. And listen, I worked a real job. Working with women is a different. Working with guys, you could fucking fart at each other and you could grab each other's fucking. You play gay chicken and there's no problem. You could say horrific language, no problem. Once women work there, they are a little more sensitive, but that's okay. That's just the way that it works. Okay. But like, yeah, it's saving face. Yes, it is saving face. Because I said again, because you probably came into the segment late. I'll say it again. Blizzard had a massive scandal where I'm pretty sure a woman killed herself because she dated a guy and then he leaked revenge porn. And there was tons of other sexual harassment and different misconducts in there as well. No investor will invest into video games nowadays unless there is going to be some kind of inclusivity or DEI officer existing to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. Because if you give $100 million to make a video game and then there's somebody gets fucking raped in the studio because there's a horrible like workplace environment, you lose your money. So if you're going to invest money, you would do the exact same fucking thing. If you had $1 million to invest in a video game, you would do the exact same thing. It would be advised you to do the exact same thing. Because you want to make sure you get a return on your investment. Like I said, the God of War games were made with it was like Pink Rose or some bullshit studio that everybody was complaining about, but God of War came from that as well. There are good games that have these inclusivity officers. They're going to exist all around. And it doesn't have to just be Activision. You might be like, well, it's just Activision. No, it's everybody. When the whole industry sees like one of the kings of the industry get fucked on that because they fucked up for so long, every other industry is going to play it safe too. Okay? If you are an investor and you just saw that Blizzard had a huge scandal, you're not going to invest in a non-Blizzard or non-Activision industry without some kind of inclusivity officer to make sure it doesn't happen again in that industry as well. These things are industry-wide. This guy's talking, and again, I don't know if he's trolling, but this guy's talking about like how games used to be just a bunch of white guys having fun and this and that. Yes, that is cool. I love white guys having fun. Okay, we throw our hoods on every weekend and we go burn crosses. But I'm just kidding. But that is the type of environment that creates hostility for like non-white dudes or non-white straight dudes, right? Like that's just what happens, even if it's not intentional. Okay, I used to hang out with a bunch of straight dudes when we were at work. We'd say some wild shit. Things would get a little raunchy sometimes, right? It's kind of the way that it happens, but that's not necessarily an inclusive environment for a woman or somebody or a gay guy. You know what I mean? When we're calling each other the fucking slurs at work because like we're just joking around and having fun, when you have somebody that might feel targeted by that slur start working for you, you have to go like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't use this language because it's offensive to them. You may not mean it to be offensive in that way, but that's how these things work. So there's you have to understand like the scope of these different situations. It's not as simple as, oh, there's too much gay shit. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So just to be clear, when you understand it from like an actual business perspective, you're like, oh, this isn't unreasonable anymore, even if it gets annoying sometimes. There's still good games being produced. People are still generally happy. There's just more disappointing top tier games being produced because they're getting bloated and people are frustrated, and there's just so many more games that it's hard to like figure out what game you want to play. When you only have 3 things to pick from, it makes your choice easy. When you have 100 things to pick from, it can get very frustrating and confusing for people. This is like a real psychological thing. So like there's so many different aspects to this. Oh my god, I just fucked my mic up. There are so many different aspects to this, and we like to just be like, oh, it's because gay people suck, but it is really nothing to do with that necessarily. Like people get so fucking weird about it. So yeah, that's it.
Sensitivity training officer, sensitivity
Yes.
reader. Like, guys, just get back to World of Warcraft. Get back to StarCraft. Just make fucking good games. The guys,
and then like when they make shitty games, like Blizzard fucked up. They did a remake of Warcraft 3. Loved Warcraft 3. They ruined it. They like destroyed the custom player games. They destroyed the entire thing. That wasn't because gay people exist. That's because the companies are greedy as fuck. So just to be clear, there's so many different things. You want to blame it on gay people. Blame it on how greedy these corporations are. That's where you should put your primary blame into.
in the 90s, they were just making cool shit. id Software in the 90s and Infinity Ward in the 2000s was just making cool, edgy shit.
Okay.
And now they're having seminars on inclusion and diversity.
Yes, because
do
people
we
are getting
still wonder why
harassed.
games are dog shit now? Also, honestly, dude, I don't think any of this junk
I don't
is-
think games are dog shit now. I think that there's just more dog shit games available. Okay? Listen, like if you go back, there's an entire channel. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Angry Video Game Nerd, dedicated to going through how horrible some old games were. games weren't as amazing as we think. One of the things people need to be very aware of is that we are all the victims of nostalgia. You have a game that you love from back in the day, and they've probably remade it, and you're like, it's not as good because this company sucks. And you want to know what the reality is? You were a fucking kid playing the game, and you don't know how bad it is, okay? I play World of Warcraft. I played Classic WoW. I loved that game. I had so much fun. I played with my friends. It was amazing. When they did the remake of the game, it wasn't recaptured because it was just a different time where metas didn't exist, a different time when skill-based matchmaking didn't exist. You think that that's not a big deal? It is a huge deal. I used to be able to play Counter-Strike, and you go into lobbies and you would fucking decimate people. I don't play Counter-Strike anymore, but people love that because the really good players get to destroy shit players. You implement things like skill-based matchmaking. Statistically, I was actually unironically reading data for this. When you do skill-based matchmaking, overall, people are more likely to return to your game to play the game because now they're not getting fucking washed. Like, the top 10% of players actually have a less likeliness of coming back to the game, but the other 90% of players have a higher chance of coming back to the game because they're having a more fun and fair experience. These are all different things that contribute to your game. You're more likely to look past blemishes because you're a kid. You like some of the broken or flawed metrics in the game, and there's not a sweaty meta that exists. I used to love Dota 2. I used to be like top 3%. There is an incredibly complicated meta in there, and I just cannot get back into the game. Okay, there is skill-based matchmaking, and I just can't get... Well, actually, I always did the skill-based matchmaking, but you understand my point. Things will change. There's metas introduced, and there's different metrics to help people play the game and come in. That's why, that's it. And you think like, oh, the game was so good because it was just better back then. No, it was a different culture on how games were being made. It wasn't refined enough. But nowadays, like, they're refining it more. So like your games overall released nowadays are probably better. But like you remember how good your game was back in the day because you were willing to sit through a shitty gameplay. Like, that's just the reality of the world. Thank you for the $2 from Joseph Hanna. What is the final takeaway from Mr. T Lex stuff? Oh, I feel bad for the guy.
Going to change anytime soon because think about Phil Spencer and think about the people around him right now. He's got Sarah Bond. He's probably got a bunch of trans and gay people working for him. And he now has to look these people in the face and say, hey guys, cancel all those stupid games.
Why are you just showing us the same clip over and over again? Do something different.
Games y'all are making, and let's hire some manly people in here because that's what our audience wants.
Okay.
Like, he's never going to do that, dude. Xbox and PlayStation are going to keep ramming this LGBTQ slop down our throats for a while. And guys, this kind of gets to the question of what can we do about it? We're just going to stop playing this trash. We're going to go...
Yeah, people don't really play it.
Buy old games.
People don't play these games. That's why they're free on the Xbox store.
Buy old... edgy games and stop playing
free the membership
any modern video game because they're trash. If you see something modern with a homo flag in it, delete it and uninstall it.
Okay. Do that. It's a weird obsession that you guys have with this stuff.
Don't play Call of Duty. Don't play Overwatch. Don't play Apex. Don't play Fortnite.
Bro, Zelda is like one of the most popular games in the world. Link is a fucking twink, and you're never convinced me otherwise. And unironically, just so you know, Asian games do this shit all the time. Japanese games especially. They make their characters typically male, but they make them somewhat ambiguous so that women feel more comfortable playing them. Women like RPGs more than you'd think. Okay? So, like, there's always been... This is like, I feel like a lot of this is like kind of an American market thing, maybe, but I just feel like you guys are so obsessed with this weird shit. Just don't play the fucking game.
Support Russian and Eastern European...
Hades 2 is a banger. Oh, I gotta play that still. I loved Hades 1.
Games. Play Ready or Not. Play Tarkov. Play Stalker.
Oh, there is gay shit in that game too, but it was a great game. The first one was amazing. I have to play the second one.
Stalker 2. Look,
cool. Play games that resonate with you. That's the whole point of the games. It's like a car. Buy a car that resonates with you. Play games that resonate with you. Read books that resonate with you. Watch shows that resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't engage with it. But not everything has to be for you. That doesn't mean that you can't complain about some stuff, but this is just like, I hate gay crybaby bullshit. I feel like it's a troll, but I actually think he might be serious.
And I love America, and I hate that I have to recommend games from the East right now, but I do.
Why?
Russian, Chinese, Japanese games still have some semblance of morality and normal masculinity in them.
It couldn't be an anti-gay video without guzzling the cum of fucking Russia. You gotta love it. Okay.
Meanwhile, anything made in
God of War came from America Studio. No, that shit was fucking amazing. That was like the pinnacle of masculinity. I loved that story.
Homo Sweden or Homo Germany or Homo England or Homo America is going to be gay and woke.
Wasn't Elden Ring made in one of those places? Right? Where was... I mean, this is the guy that thinks that Fortnite's for men. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, and how could I forget Homo France? So, guys, in closing, join the Andy Pants Gaming Discord, and you will find like-minded people who agree with us and want to talk about this stuff.
Hey, whatever gets you through the day in your sad, lonely, miserable life.
Also, on the side, I'm thinking of starting a virtual meetup where we literally just study God's word, the Bible, together.
This guy's trolling.
Modernity and talk about...
This guy's trolling. This guy has to be trolling. There's no way.
What it looks like to be a Christ follower and reject this stuff in our culture today. So comment Bible down below if you think you might want to be involved in that.
This guy's trolling, right? He has to be. There's no way. This is the gayest, cringiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Thanks, guys. And it seriously means the world to me that y'all follow this and like this stuff. All right, I'm out.
All right. I'm truly having a hard time figuring out if this was a joke or if this is real. I don't know. Part of me feels like this is a next level troll to fuck with
they're not
obnoxious anti-woke people. But then also he might be serious, and I don't know. And if there is a joke here, I'm lost because he's liking the comments. I don't know. He's liking all the comments, agreeing with him. I have a feeling that this is real. The final boss in Elden Ring was a femboy who was based on Griffith. It's fucking peak though. Raping a woman, that's peak masculinity, guys. Just kidding. Listen, man, I don't know. This guy, I think, is serious. Hard to believe because what he said was just a bunch of he was just rambling and saying dumb shit. But hey, you know what? I'm glad I checked this video out. It was something. It was an experience. I'll tell you that.